Y'all must have forgot, but 115 pounds is still the best weight division in all of boxing. Look at the names you've got at super flyweight. Look at the fact Roman Gonzalez this past February proved himself to still be a force. Very arguably deserving that split decision loss against Estrada. There was supposed to be the rubber match around October. Didn't happen. I think COVID had something to say about that. But then you've got Rungvisai still waiting as well. And then you've got Ioka and Ancajas. The WBO and the IBF. Ready for a unification. As is tradition in Japan, on New Year's Eve. And if you are a fan of the low weight divisions, you are licking your chops at this one. Now, the weird thing about Ancajas is that he's kind of been out of the big picture for a while. He became a champion in late 2016. He's chipped away on his own path. He's shown himself to be a respectable champ. But all the while, the likes of Gonzalez, Estrada, Rungvisai and Quadras have all been mixing it up. There's a few rematches in there as well. Meanwhile, Ancajas has just been on the sidelines doing his own thing. So we don't really know how good the Filipino is. What we do know is that he is both younger and bigger than Ioka. Ioka, if anything, is a little bit undersized. I think in his last fight against the Mexican Rodriguez, we saw some problems relating to just physical strength that, ironically, we saw with Gonzalez when he moved up to Superfly. Ancajas has got to not just make his youth, but his physical presence count in this fight. In terms of adjustments, this will be the first southpaw Ioka has fought since Javier Cintron, the Puerto Rican. That will have been about 2 years ago. Who he outpointed quite comfortably, using his feet, picking the smart shots. And I think that's what he's going to have to do against the younger and bigger Ancajas. If there's one thing Jerwin doesn't do particularly well, it's that he's not a particularly sophisticated operator. He's certainly more bread and butter compared to Ioka. He fights more in straight lines, he goes forwards and backwards, he chips away at you very diligently, but as Floyd would say, there's no real special effects. Ioka has tremendous footwork, he knows how to roam about, just go out a distance, soak up your weak spots, figure out what the next ideal combination is. And if he finds that physical strength is a problem in this fight, he is really going to have to rely on those good feet, which at 32 may be a little bit more difficult than it used to be. You can just never know when the wheels are going to fall off a fighter who is a bit deeper in his career, particularly one who operates in such a lower weight division. But perhaps something a little bit more encouraging for fans of Ioka is that the punch he found it very difficult to get out the way of against the orthodox Rodriguez was the straight right hand. For whatever reason, that was giving him a lot of trouble. The slickness we saw against Tanaka, perfectly judging the distance, then coming in with those wicked left hooks, that really wasn't there against Rodriguez. He had to really grind out that performance, and he was getting caught with the lead right hand. Facing a southpaw like Ancajas, that shouldn't be a problem. Maybe he will find it easier to land his own straight right hand. Maybe he will be able to keep his foot on the outside of Ancas's lead foot. Just be able to manipulate him from the word go, and everything will be much easier. Or perhaps the Filipino, similar to Rodriguez, will draw strength from the fact he is fighting away from home. He is on this other guy's turf. He knows he has to do extra to win. And he will try and do just that. Make it a physical fight. Don't hide behind the jab too much. Close the gap and start winging away with the body shots. If there's any suspicion that the 32-year-old Ioka is starting to slow down a bit, if you're in the corner of Ancajas, you tell him to go for it. And so I certainly expect Ancajas to bring his absolute A game, to try and push Ioka into places he doesn't want to be. But looking at the situation where they both are in their careers, I don't think Ioka is that old just yet. And he probably did underperform against Rodriguez, not to take anything away from the Mexican. In his homeland of Japan, I expect Ioka to completely raise his game, to be as sharp as a tack. He might not be as devastating as he was against Tanaka, but he will use his feet, he will use his incredible punch selection, his ability to counter, just that great feel for the ring. You are looking at one of the pound-for-pound operators. And to essentially out-general Ancajas over the 12 rounds. But how do you see this fight playing out? This really good unification. Ioka didn't look great in his last fight, did he? He looked a little bit weak against Rodriguez. Part of me was thinking, where's the power gone from the Tanaka fight? The way he was whipping in those left hooks, the way each one got a reaction. Is he just not as strong at this weight like it was with Roman Gonzalez? And if that's the case, is that the inroads that Ancajas needs to make this a physical fight, to make it his fight? It's a tremendous fight either way you cut it. How do you see it going?